What's happening, people? I'm back with another reaction, back with some more acid dub techno, or acid techno ska. Indeed, we're going back to the Stay Up Forever special first release. I just did a reaction where I reacted to Tiddles and Dark Mark's tune, Politics No Meaning. Please go check that out. It's such a great tune. If you like acid techno, if you like ska, if you like reggae, dub, like it just has like a bit of flavor of all those things. So yeah, check that out. But again, as I mentioned in that video, when I originally bought this record, the tune I was most excited to get is sort of the title tune, and the title tune being the techno, the reggae, and the heavy ska. Or I think it's titled as the techno and the reggae and the heavy ska. And this is Chris Liberator and Sterling Moss with Tiddles. Chris and Sterling, I mentioned it before, they're a dynamic duo. They've made, scores of tracks over the last, 15 years or so. I think it was like the late aughties when they started producing together. And, I don't know if I mentioned this on my new channel. I think there was a time where I talked about it on my old channel, but so the story goes. I remember reading this online somewhere that Sterling, who was making like tunes that are kind of on the border of like techno and hard house for his Racetracks label, I believe he and Chris eventually sort of linked up, and apparently Chris like went to his house early in the morning with a 303 and was like, hey man, you want to make some real fucking techno? Let's do that. And apparently that was, the rest is history, as they say. So yeah, I've been a massive fan of their tunes for a long time. Some of my very favorites, like Acid Wah 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 and like I'm Bored. And also, they've made tunes with Aaron Liberator as the Wipeouts, and the Wipeouts, like some of the tunes that they've made, unbelievable. So shout out to Chris and Sterling, and then I've said it before, I'll say it again 100 more times. Tiddles just has one of my favorite voices ever. I've become a big fan of female vocals in acid techno and techno, and there are no voices more significant in that regard for me than Tiddles, so shout out to Carmel. But yeah, we're going to listen to, as I said, the title tune on this record. I have 2 copies of, because I was so fond of the record, and I mentioned it before, when you mix primarily vinyl, if you get 2 copies of a record, you can then mix from one track on the record into another track on the record, which if you only mix vinyl and you only have 1 copy, you can't really do that. You have to have an intermediary track. So when I really like a record, sometimes I'll do that because I want to be able to go straight from one tune on the record into the other. But yeah, here we go. This is Chris Liberator, Sterling Moss and Tiddles, the techno and the reggae and the heavy ska. Is it 45? I'm going to put it on 45, but if we start fast, I'll restart it. We good. Listen to the kick already. The thunderous kick. The, steel-shattering kick drum. You got your kind of air horn blare, as well as an enthusiastic shout. So, before we get there, I'm going to mention this because in the moment it happens very quick. The tune has a great intro section, great secondary intro, and then we get the breakdown, big build up, a drop. It's brilliant, it's fantastic. But about 128 after the main drum, it kicks into a 5th and final gear, and it's unbelievable. But it doesn't last long. I think it lasts about a 32. So yeah, or at most a 64. So yeah, the tune gets to a 5th gear right near the end, but the sequencing is so quick, I didn't want to have to try to set it up right then. But that was the moment for me. When I was listening to this track online, because Stay Up Forever website, you can hear the tracks. It just sort of played that moment in the clip, and it was like, oh my god, I need 2 copies of this. There she is. We got our ska rhythm now. For the little percussive drum roll leading into the secondary intro. Also, I like that submarine sonar. It'll come back. But it's okay. You can hear that acid texture on the low end of what it is, but just you wait. more of those too. Lots more of those little percussive rolls. Sounds like a sushi type. I'd say 2 California rolls and a percussive roll. It's like tight, tight knit, woven, it's like acid wool. And then like this buzzing layer on top of it. Starting to blaze away now. It's gone from the buzzing level to the blazing level. The cymbal. There's my submarine sonar. Electric gurgling. It's like the acid is simmering, waiting to like burst into a full boil. And believe me, when we get to that 5th gear moment, which is coming, it's like overflowing boil. Hear how hot it was like cricket chirp level of like the pitch of the acid as it rose up right before the break. Listen to that like relentless, like tightly woven acid. Coming. In 5th gear, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's like they give you 32 with the actual kick, and then they pull it out. Listen to the acid. Now my only complaint is that last like final gear, they don't stretch it out another 64. I'm not greedy. I don't need like 2 more minutes of that, but like it hits such a high level for that short 32. That yeah, I just wish it was like another 64 before it went into that kind of like, pulled out the kick for the last 32 and then went into this like stripped down outro. So I love this tune. I just want more in that last moment. It's my only like critique, not in terms of the nature of what we're hearing, but in terms of how much of it we get to hear. But again, it is a very stripped down outro, but that ska guitar rhythm, like you can stretch this double drop out because it still has that element. And that. Yep, it's a a fantastic tune. As I said, it was the original track that made me want to buy the record. Essentially made me want to buy 2 copies of the record. So yeah, I very much enjoy it. I just wish that one last real, just acid guns blazing loud and proud. I wish that moment just lasted a little bit longer. But yeah, shout out to Tiddles for her voice once again. Shout out to Chris and Sterling for another slamming track. And that's another thing, I mentioned how much I love their tunes. Part of the reason why is not only is the acid work always frenetic and awesome, and whether it's a slightly brighter, because they do tracks that have different flavors. A lot of them are very having it, but sometimes they're kind of bright, and then other times they're kind of wicked and hard, like Acid Wah Wah Wah, or I was gonna say Forces of Anarchy, but that's again a Wipeouts tune, so it's Chris, Sterling, and Aaron. But yeah, they can do different styles. So let me know what you think of that one. Other than that, I will see you next time.